Thursday, November 7th, 2024. We will start the meeting with stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item number 3 on the agenda is approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any additions or corrections?
I'm going to remove item M under regular business, I believe. The discussion on 214th Street. Highway Superintendent Brian Gusted isn't able to be here today, so we'll just take that discussion and move it to the next meeting.
Good. Any other comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item number 4 is an invitation for a citizen to schedule time on the commission agenda for an item not listed. There's a 5-minute time limit per person. Anyone wanting to speak during this agenda item must sign in prior to the start of the meeting. No commission action will be taken during this agenda item. Any requested action item may be scheduled for a future meeting date. I don't believe we have anybody signed in today, so we'll move on to item number 5. Consent agenda items, which includes minutes, travel and education requests, personnel action notices, cellular authorizations, human services report. Do I have a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any additions, corrections? Any comments? Call the roll, please.
Vanderwall.
Aye.
Bartley.
Aye.
Krogman.
Aye.
Hostler.
Aye.
Jensen.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item number 6 is routine business. We have approval of the claims. Do I have a motion to approve the claims?
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any comments? Hearing none, call the roll.
Bartley.
Aye.
Krogman.
Aye.
Hostler.
Aye.
Vanderwall.
Aye.
Jensen.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item number B is department head reports. Sheriff Stanwyck, would you like to start? Okay. Richard from the planning office?
Probably from Tuesday.
Good morning. We have our zoning meeting tonight. Last Monday, with the PPC pod committee, we had a flu clinic and Tdap immunization at the high school. It was well received, waiting on the final number of that. Also this past week, we received word from FEMA on the final flood map updates. We're in the process of getting that approved and into the ordinance for that. And Mr. Hill should be back today, and I believe that's all I have.
Any questions for Richard? Hearing none. Lori, do you have a report? Okay, thank you. Moving on to item number 7, or no, scheduled agenda item at 9 o'clock. So we'll move on to regular business. Action to automatically supplement for unanticipated expense incurred and reimbursement made to Brookings County for the 2024 primary post-election audit in the amount of $598.26 to election budget general GL line 101-4-120-4210. Do I have a motion to approve?
Move approval. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any comments?
This is just as part of the hand count process now. The state reimburses counties back so much for doing that, so this is that that from the primary election. It'll get put back into the line for election workers.
Okay. Any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item B is action to automatically supplement for unanticipated expense incurred and reimbursement made to the Brookings County for payment number 1 of the CDBG grant for the Brookings Behavioral Health Project in the amount of $253,093.60 to Commission Budget Line GL Line 101-4-111-4293. Do I have a motion to approve?
So approved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Comments?
As you know, we're kind of the pass-through for the CDBG grant for Brookings Behavioral Health Construction Project. We will be, you approve those pay requests every so often as they come in. This is the first payment back from the state for this grant. What you will see then is in the next claim cycle on the 19th, there'll be a check cut out of this line back to Brookings Behavioral Health as kind of their first payment from the grant. And then First District has a $15,000 administration fee for administering the grant, so there'll be $15,000 of this will go to them, and then the rest will go to Brookings Behavioral Health. So we'll see these as we approve pay applications. You'll see this money coming back from the state. We'll automatically supplement it into this line and then right away turn around and pay it right back out again. So this is the first of those.
Okay. Any other questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item C, action to approve a payment to the Elkton Fire Department out of the long-term funds in the amount of $68,213.97 for a MSA, SCBA, and accessories. Do I have a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion second. Any comments?
This is a request out of just the long-term funds. As you know, at the end of each year, whatever budget authority is left in that, the money that we budget for fire departments goes into this long-term fund. The Fire Association keeps track of those funds. Each department gets so many, so much of those dollars. This is Elkton Fire Department requesting reimbursement out of those long-term funds. And this is submitted by the association, so they're aware of the ask.
That's a question I had. The association submits a claim, correct?
Yeah, Pete Bolzer signed off on the claim, so they're aware of it.
Okay. Any other questions? Call the roll, please.
Krogman?
Aye.
Hostler?
Aye.
Vanderwall?
Aye.
Bartley?
Aye.
Jensen?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item D, action to authorize Chairperson Jensen to sign payment request number 2 for the CDBG grant for the Brookings Behavioral Health and Wellness Center project in the amount of $163,755.14. Have motion approved.
So moved. Move. Second.
Have motion and second. Any comments?
So this is exactly what we did with that auto sup. This is just the pay request number 2. Once this is approved and signed, this gets sent to First District that submits that to GOED, Governor's Office of Economic Development. They in turn will cut us a check back for this amount, and then we'll supplement that, or we'll pay Brookings Behavioral Health. So this is just kind of another step in that circle.
Okay. Any further questions? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item E is action to approve a donation for the Christmas Kids and Cops program in the amount of $1,000. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
And a motion and a second. Any comments?
This is budgeted in our public relations line. We get this request pretty much every year from them. We have for quite a few years. Last year, we did increase the amount that we donated to this program to $1,000. So, and this is in the budget and is doable. So that's why I left the amount the same as last year.
Okay. Any comments? We call the roll, please.
Hostler.
Aye.
Vanderwall.
Aye.
Bartley.
Aye.
Krogman.
Aye.
Jensen.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item F, approval of a retail on-sale liquor, retail on-off sale, wine and cider, and package off-sale liquor license for January 1st, 2025 to December 31st, 2025. Item 1 is action approve a retail on-sale liquor license, a retail on-off sale wine and cider license, and a package off-sale liquor license to Brookings Country Club Incorporated for January 1, 2025 to December 31st, 2025. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any comments on this item?
I do have one comment to make. Brookings Country Club, they passed their alcohol sting. They were missing a signature on one of the applications. I did receive that signature, so I do have the final application in my packet. However, they have not paid their second half property taxes, which is a requirement before they're issued the license. So I guess my recommendation to the board would be, maybe to approve it contingent upon them paying the second half taxes.
Okay.
I could add that to I'd make a motion to approve them, subject to paying their second half taxes.
I'll second that.
I got a motion and a second to approve upon payment of taxes. All in favor of the amendment, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Amendment approved. Back to original motion. Any other comments on that? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion carried. Item 2 is action to approve a retail on-sale liquor license to Cusman's LLC, the Boathouse at ABR, for January 1, 2025 to December 31st, 2025. We have a motion to approve.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any comments? Hearing no comments, their alcohol sting, everything compliant?
Correct, yep. All of these entities have passed the compliance check.
Okay. Sheriff, any concerns with any of these? No concerns. Okay. No other comments? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item 3 is action to approve a retail on-off sale wine and cider license to Good Roots Farm and Gardens for January 1, 2025 to December 31st, 2025. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
A motion and a second. Any comments? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion carried. Item 4, action to approve a retail on-sale liquor license to Shade Vineyard Incorporated for January 1, 2025 to December 31st, 2025. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. No comments? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion carried. Item 5, action to approve a retail on-sale liquor license to SVK Properties / Midway Place for January 1, 2025 to December 31st, 2025. Do I have a motion to approve?
Move approval. Second.
A motion is second. No comments? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion carried. Item 6, action to approve a retail on-sale liquor license to Wagon Wheel Resort LLC for January 1, 2025 to December 31st, 2025. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any comments? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item G is action to approve the following board appointments. The first one would be Valerie DePraise to a one-year term on the Extension Board starting January 10th, 2025. Do I have a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any comments? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item number 2, Paul Weiss to a 2-year term on the BCOAC Advisory Board starting January 1, 2025. Motion approved.
Move approval.
Second.
Motion and second. Any comments here? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item 3, Dale Storhog to a 2-year term on the BCOAC Advisory Board starting January 1st, 2025. Do I have a motion approved?
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any comments? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item number 4, Ryan Krogman to fill an unexpired 1-year term on the Housing and Redevelopment Commission starting January 1, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any comments?
I need to abstain.
Okay, any other comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item 5, Cody Clark to a 4-year term on the Planning and Zoning Commission, representing District 4, starting January 1st, 2025. Do I have a motion to approve?
Move approval. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any comments? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. I'd like to thank all these people that volunteered for these positions. A lot of these boards they're short of people, and it's just nice to be able to have people that step up and volunteer for these.
There are still 2 positions that we're looking to fill, both on the Extension Board. Otherwise, everything else has been filled at this point, but there are still 2 positions on the Extension Board to fill.
Yep. So, and they're still taking applications, so until filled, I'm guessing. So if anybody that would like to be on the Extension Board, have them get a hold of us. Item H is action to approve a request to fill vacancy for the BCOAC Director position. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any comments? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item I, action to approve a request to fill vacancy for corrections corporal internal posting in the detention center. Do I have a motion to approve?
Second.
A motion and a second. Any comments? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item J, action to approve a request to fill vacancy for a full-time female correctional officer in the detention center. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any comments? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item K, action to approve a request to fill vacancy for a heavy equipment operator in the highway department. Do I have a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any comments here? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item L is action to approve a request to fill vacancy for part-time membership assistance at the BCOAC. Do I have a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any comments? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Moving on. Stacy, you want to do your report or Commission Department Director's report?
This morning, I handed out sheets, couple spreadsheets stapled together. One, the top one says 2024, and then the next one says 2025. These are the rural access infrastructure tracking spreadsheets that I have for that program, that culvert program with townships. The 2024 one on top, you can see that we're still waiting to get some projects invoices turned in from a few of the townships that were approved for this year. If they don't get approved, it'll probably just get moved on to, it'll just kind of just carry over into 2025. And you can kind of see where we're at there for money. And then the next one is the 2025 applications that we received. We actually received one additional 5-year plan. I think we had like eight townships, but then they decided not to submit anything, submit projects, and that was Oslo Township. They've been doing some projects here over the last few years trying to get caught up. So we have quite a few projects that were submitted for next year, which is good. These are just kind of the cost, generally the cost estimates. These applications, I know I sent off to Highway Superintendent Brian Gusted last week so that he can take a look at these projects and be able to give recommendations, and then they'll be coming before you, the commission, to approve. That has to be done by the 15th of January, so to approve for 2025 construction.
I did have a call. One of these township projects, the culverts were just delivered. If they don't get put into would they be able to do that next year?
Yes, yeah, we'll just carry this over, so,
Okay.
yeah, I keep track of that. That happened with a township last year too, that construction season ran out for their contractor and the invoices were turned in. We just, it basically rolls back into fund balance and then we budget supplement it back into the budget for next year, so.
Okay.
Other than that, the only other thing I have are just some upcoming dates. Monday, county offices are closed in honor of the Veterans Day holiday. There's several of us going to Spink County on Wednesday. It says November 13th, Monday. That should actually say Wednesday. It's Wednesday next week, heading to Spink County for the 10-county meeting. The 20th, I think I sent out information about the next Resilient Community event on the 20th. Something new that got added since the agenda closed, there is a Brookings Business Mixer. It's Thursday, November 21st, 4:30 to 6:30. It's at the Research Park at SDSU. I believe all of you received a little postcard invitation that I handed out this morning. That event is being sponsored by the Chamber, BEDC, Downtown Brookings, the Research Park, and Visit Brookings. And then looking out a little bit further, we have county offices closed Thursday and Friday for Thanksgiving, the 28th and the 29th. We have a Communities That Care Key Leader Orientation on December 10th. Some office closures, noon on the 24th, and then all day on Christmas Day, December 25th. And the first meeting of the year next year, I believe, isn't until January 7th. That's the first Tuesday, so that'll be a little bit later. But we will be doing headshots for commissioners, department heads, and then the group picture that morning too. So I'll be getting some additional information out. That'll start, the meeting won't start any earlier, but the pictures will be early. We'll do oaths of office that morning. So I'll be getting some information out here in the next couple weeks on that. So that's all I have, unless you have questions for me.
Have we received anything from Ag Appreciation?
I have not, no. I believe that's December 3rd, I believe. Whatever, I think that's on a Tuesday. And I know that why. I believe it's the December 3rd.
Good.
I can look into that and try to get some information out on it.
Okay. Any questions for Stacy? Hearing none, Dan, do you have State Attorney's Office report?
No. Nothing to report.
Item number 11, Commission reports and discussion. Commissioner Vanderwall, will you start anyway?
Oh, there we go. Okay. On October 14th, I attended the Toronto Power Plant. I already reported on that. Thursday, the 17th, I had a E911 short meeting. On the 23rd, the legislative roundtable out at Actronics in that morning. There was a good attendance, good discussions, preparing for the upcoming legislative year. And the last thing was on Monday, October 28th, we had the flu shot clinic thing. Well attended, was impressed, very impressed with that. That's my report. Thank you.
Commissioner Bartley.
On the 15th of October, attended, as all of you did, the department head reviews. On the 16th, BDC had a board meeting that I attended. On the 23rd was a legislative roundtable at Daktronics, as Commissioner Vanderwall had mentioned. It was, well, actually, it was almost twice as many people there as there was last year, so I think that's going to be an annual event for that roundtable. We actually sat in a round table. Well, no table in the middle because there was too many chairs around it, but a big circular, almost like a firing squad. Anyway, it was good information from all the legislative people. October 28th was the road tour. Brian took us out and showed us all the things that we've accomplished out in the county with bridges and culverts. It's always enlightening to see that because we do get a lot of good comments about how we take care of our county roads and our bridges. And it's a constant process. Even the applications we got recently for culvert applications, it's up this year considerably over last year's request for those culvert assistance. So we're going to spend a lot of money on that, and that's a great deal. October 28th is the Brookings Behavioral Health and Wellness Board meeting. Did a tour of the construction site, and it's a phenomenal building. It's much needed. The space is needed. It's going to be a little process to get it completed, but they've done a lot of work. We got to go through and see all the rooms, the types of rooms, the things that they're going to be able to add to their process that they haven't had room for before. It's a little over a $5 million project. It's got a long ways to go yet, but if you haven't had a chance to drive by and look at it, it's really going to be a nice looking facility. It's going to serve the county very well and the city very well in the future. Mary Beth has done a phenomenal job keeping them together. Clark Drew Construction is ahead of schedule, about 2 weeks. The only thing we'll put them behind is some of the windows, probably, like all construction companies have problems with those types of things right now. So take a look at it if you drive by. It's looking really great, and you can kind of see what it's going to look like already. November 5th, we had a BEDC Zoom meeting. On the 6th, I attended yesterday the solar farm groundbreaking. It's going to be an impressive project, some 11,772. They had an exact figure of how many panels they're going to put up. It'll serve, when it's operational at 5 megawatts, I think it was, the equivalent of about 1,100 homes could be fully powered by this particular site. At this point in time, there are no batteries connected to this, so it's sunlight available only. They'll have panels that'll move with the sun. They've got 75 acres. They're going to build on about 30 of it. It'll be, if you go out to the dump and the dump road that goes in to the facility, directly south of it is where it'll be. That'll be kind of up on the hill and back more towards the trees. If you're driving on 34th, you probably won't even see it. It's kind of hidden back there. But they have room for expansion in the future if they need to do that. It's about a $12.5 million project that Missouri River Energy Services is putting together. There will be, Brookings City Utilities is part of that cooperative, and Steve Myers is on the chairman of their board, I think, right now. So it was well attended. I think it's going to be an asset to the utilities here, at least, to have that extra piece of energy to produce as our community grows and our county grows, and we need that electricity. That's the end of my report.
Okay, we do have a scheduled 9 o'clock. We'll stop there with commissioner reports. Our scheduled agenda item, A, public hearing and action approve a retail on-sale liquor license for Skyview Junction LLC. At this time, I'd like to open the public hearing. Any proponents that would like to speak to the issue, would they like to come forward? Any proponents? Any proponents? Any opponents would like to speak to the item? Any opponents? Hearing none, do you have any comments from the board? Okay. I just would like,
I do have one comment I guess I can make. Yeah, I can make a comment. So as you know, Skyview Junction, they're applying to renew their retail on-sale liquor license for the upcoming year. Per Sergeant Kevin Murfield, Skyview is one of the businesses who had failed the alcohol sting. And per our ordinance, we require a public hearing on businesses who have failed the alcohol sting. So that is why we are holding the public hearing today.
okay. I guess I would look for a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
A motion is second. Is there any other comments?
Just as this is, Skyview, I think, has been before us before for these
Skyview had
infractions.
failed the alcohol sting back in 2021.
Okay, so it's only been one in the last 5 years anyway?
Correct.
Okay.
Sheriff, did they do a sting after this one in June? Do you know? And were they,
I don't think so.
you don't know for sure? Okay.
I believe they just do 1 a year.
Okay.
My question is the business done anything to prevent this from happening again?
Is there an individual can come forward and answer that, please? If you would just state your name and okay. Any other questions from the board? No. Hearing none. Thank you. Call the roll, please.
Vanderwall.
Aye.
Bartley.
Aye.
Krogman.
Aye.
Hassler.
Aye.
Jensen.
Aye.
Motion carries.
I would now close the public hearing. Back to commissioner reports. Commissioner Krogman.
Yeah, on the 17th of October, we had Brookings Housing Redevelopment Commission meeting. Unfortunately, the funding that they've been receiving from the federal government was cut off. And so they will not be able to add any new vouchers, just the ones that they currently have, and the ones that they currently have will continue to be funded. And so basically now what's going to happen is if there's somebody who would like to get a voucher, they will have to get on a waiting list until one opens up, and which is very common with majority of the communities that have Section 8 housing and stuff. There's usually a waiting list. We were fortunate to have quite a few extras, and we were trying to fill those as much as we could. Unfortunately, we were not able to fill them, and so the government looked at it and said, okay, we're going to use them somewhere else. And so We have approximately, give or take, 250 clients on the voucher system, and a waiting list will be started as we move forward. So just kind of things that happen in this world of public housing with the federal government. Really didn't have anything we could do about it. They basically gave us notice that we're gonna cut them down to what you have now. But again, that is very common. I think Sioux Falls has a 1.5 year waiting list for their voucher system and different things like that. So it's not uncommon. Just wish we could have been able to use more over the last few years, but we still have a good number. So next on the 23rd, went to the legislative roundtable on Daktronics. Again, very good showing, very good discussion. Hopefully that will continue. I had a beta meeting that afternoon at noon. Things are going well. Ridership is up. The one thing about it is the funds for beta, they're federal funds that they get, and they ran out with 1 month in their budget left. And so they had funds in reserve to keep everything going and keep finding it, but they're hoping we get a bump in the federal funds to be able to make it through the fiscal year and not have to dip into reserves. Again, that is previously when I was on that board, probably 6-7 years ago, that was before COVID, pre-COVID, that was kind of the norm. We just never received enough funding from those. And so the funds that are received from their advertising, from ridership, from investments from the governments, they help cover those numbers when we don't have enough money to finish out the fiscal year. Again, not uncommon back in the day, pre-COVID, but after COVID, there's reserves, but I got a feeling this is going to be the norm from now on there also. So next thing, on the 28th, I had the Brookings Health Board. Things are going well there. They had the Investment Council update, and everything is going very well there on the Investment Council too. So, and then on the 4th of November here, I stopped by and saw the testing of the tabulator. Everything went well there. Again, our finance department does a fantastic job with that, and it was interesting that there wasn't very many people attending, and it went very well, and they were spot on, just like normal, and what they expect, and I'm sure we'll hear some good news here in a little bit too. So, but I appreciate all their work on the election. It's awesome. And that's it.
Okay, Commissioner Hosler.
So on the 16th, I attended a BEDC board meeting, and then on the 17th, we had a research park board meeting. On the 28th, attended the county road tour, looking at all the projects were completed this year. On the 31st, we had a domestic abuse board meeting. And then on the 5th, just Tuesday, we had another Zoom domestic abuse board meeting. And then that evening, came and observed the election results and counting. I want to expound on Commissioner Krogman's comments. They did an excellent job with the amount of ballots coming in, the high voter turnout that we had. Things went smoothly, and we were here until about 11:45 that night. So that is my report.
Thank you. On October 23rd, I also attended the legislative roundtable, had some good updates from Representatives Groot and Herman. On the 28th, I also went on a road tour. Thank you to Brian, and thank you to Beta for transporting us around the county. Interesting to go out and see the finished projects at the end of the year. That evening, I volunteered out at the pandemic planning flu shot activity at the high school. Went smooth. Like Richard said, I'm not sure of the numbers of shots that were given, but it was a good training exercise. On the 30th, we had a transitional BCOAC director transition meeting, how we're going to operate here in the next couple of weeks while we're doing interviews and hiring process. On the 4th of November, I also was here for the ballot test. It was very interesting watching that also. And then at 10 o'clock, we had a 214th Street discussion, some funding options. We had Steve Unruth from the state talk to us a little bit, and we're looking for some alternative grants to apply for. Brian would have been here today. We're kind of looking towards a planning grant, and at the next meeting, we'll have some more information on that planning grant we may apply for 214th Street. In the meantime, the highway department talked with the highway superintendent, and we're going to try to maintain that road the best we can at this time of year. Hopefully, when the weather gets a little colder, it'll help us out with the gravel road and make it a little smoother with the freeze-up conditions. But as of for this grant, I don't know if Stacy was also there. If you have anything to expound on that.
Steve Graham with the DOT, and then a couple individuals, Waylon Blasius and Colin Zawaska with Banner Associates were there too, just discussing several different grant options that we have. The first step in this is that the road has to be reclassified as a major collector. That's going to happen through a process that the city of Brookings is actually going through right now to kind of expand their urban boundary. And then that will be reclassified as a major collector to be federal aid eligible. There were a few grants that they talked about. One was a Protect grant. That was for roads that were kind of prone to flooding and have applied for FEMA funds in the past. Kind of discussed that for 214th, but it would be probably only a small portion of that stretch along there. The RAISE grant, similar to what they received for the interchange, was another option. There's both construction and planning grants, I believe, that are part of that process. The construction grants, of course, would be very competitive, similar to kind of the process that the interchange went through. Planning grant kind of sounded like a possible option for us to get basically that project bid ready. Rural grant, they just touched on that very briefly, but that one closed back in July, so that's a ways off yet to look at that. Then they also talked about congressional designated spending, discretionary dollars that our legislators have for different things. That would be a reach out directly to our federal legislators. And then the other thing that they touched on was the state has this infrastructure bank, so that's basically a loan against your STP funds. And then it's paid back through years of, STP funds that we don't receive. That goes to pay off this loan. So kind of what the discussion was led to was more of that, planning grant phase. A letter of recommendation from DOT is going to be needed as part of this whole process. It's kind of sounded like they'd be a little more willing to do a letter of a recommendation letter for a planning grant. And then if and when that is received, then if we get to the point where we're going to then apply for a construction grant, then they would be more willing to provide that letter as long as the planning piece of it is already complete. So those were the options that I kind of walked through, obviously kind of leaning towards that planning grant, but again, more information will be needed and will come before this board as well.
Okay. Thank you. On the 5th, I also came in election night, checked on the workers. I'd like to thank all the workers that were here. Fellow Commissioner Hostler for stepping up and helping out for the evening, but everything was running smoothly. Just everything went great, I thought. They do a great job. On the 6th, had a conservation board meeting. It's kind of wrapping up the season. It's amazing how many acres that the conservation district actually do. They do grass seeding for individuals with their specialized planter. They did over about 1,700 acres with a 10-foot drill. That takes them a while, and it sure helps out the producers in the area with specialized crop. And they also planted over 60 acres of trees that they planted from various areas. They're already taking sign-ups for next year season. They already have over 60 acres of trees that will be planted next year by their personnel. So that was interesting yesterday. That wraps up my report. Now, go on to item number 12 is general election canvass. Lori, would you please come forward?
I'll talk a little bit while those two get set up. First, I want to thank the vote center workers. Those ladies come in well before 6 o'clock, and some were here till 11:45 that night. They do such an excellent job, and so much of the success of the election starts right at that front line, so I appreciate them. Absentee workers, Doris Knutson, Connie Seward, Tammy Hansen, and Joyce Dragseth really got to work out this year. They handled over half the ballots that were cast in Brookings County down on first floor with that absentee process. So, you know, when you think about that, it really makes you tired. Half of the ballots ran through those ladies. On that note, Brookings, think of the changes and improvements that could happen if people turned out for every single election like that. Normally, our elections, not even a third of that turnout. So voters really show up for those other elections and can make some change. I really expect the absentee voting process to increase every year. It's very expensive, and I think there are ways that we could probably tweak that to cut down on some costs, so I'll be working on that over the next couple years. Sean Plowman, thanks for your IT support. Obviously, we forgot to plug in the microphones. Dick Peterson and Jody Runge, every time they supply the popcorn, which the workers just really look forward to. Mondell, thank you for the newspaper articles, appreciate that. Marty, who spends the evening providing security and helping us out. And the commission, when you stop by these things, the employees really notice and they really appreciate you take the time and interest to stop by. We did kind of volunteer Commissioner Hostler to help us out that night, and he spent the entire evening working the resolution board and putting away things. And I tell you, I've been here since 1990, and I don't think I've ever seen the whole board take as much interest and in the elections, putting up with my emails that I send you all the time, keeping you up to date on stuff. So I appreciate that. With the office, I've really worked hard to become more involved in the election process and make some improvements in our election area to take off stress from employees. These changes weren't always popular at the time, but I think they've turned out to be good. For example, the cage, locking up the tabulator and the voting machines has really helped with giving more secure elections in Brookings. Splitting up the Bethel Baptist into 2 areas has really taken the pressure off those ladies, made it a more smoother experience for the election workers. Adding the 4th worker for the absentee area, we needed that. Moving the testing up here on election night, that was just a great move, I think, and even going down to providing box lunches for the employees working at the election on election day. The small little changes have really made a big impact. Thanks to the office staff, Maggie, Christine, and Jennifer, and these 2 ladies who really focus a lot of time and energy on the election. They come in early, they stay late, they've really put in a lot of hours, so Brookings County is very lucky to have them. And they've got the poll books up here. They've given you guys the material you need to canvass after they do their presentation if you have questions for them. And then I will draw for a vote center to audit and 2 races. And that hand count will take place on November 14th at 9 o'clock here in the chambers. It will be open to the public. You can come and quietly watch. If there are individuals that want to take part in the process or want to work an election, let our office know and we will get you on the list. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Lori. Quick, right before we get started, I just want to give a shout out to Commission Department Director Stacy Stephenson. It is her birthday today. Happy birthday. Yes, yeah, we are here today to canvass the unofficial returns from the election. So as Lori stated, we'll be kind of doing a 4-step process here. We're going to start with verifying the results of the election by going through each of the recap sheets. We have provided to you the recap sheets as well so that you have them in front of you. So you can just take a look at it a little bit closer. Then we will go over the certification of a provisional ballot, which I needed to count. In this election, we had 2 provisional ballots. I did some investigation on them and determined that one of them should have been counted and one of them was not eligible to vote. So one was eligible, one is not. So we'll go over that. The third thing we'll do is declare the results, and then we will make an abstract of the results. You guys can take a look at the poll book, see who voted on election day, look at the numbers, look to see the numbers of the absentee, and then as Lori stated, we will finish up with the post-election audit stuff. So for election day, we had 62 election workers that were needed to make this day happen, and that was not including any of our staff or any of the 4 temporary election workers. We originally had 1 resolution board, which is made up of 1 Republican and 1 Democrat. With all of, I think we had about 160 ballots that were rejected, and so we ended up having to create 2 more resolution boards to kind of go over that. So thank you to Sean Hostler. He stepped up into one of those roles. So we had 3 resolution boards working. Absentee voting went for 46 days, and we had 9 polling locations available on election day.
Jenna, can you explain ballots that were rejected?
Sure. Yep, so the tabulator is programmed to kick out any ballots, and it gets kicked out to the top. So there's 2, but so ballots that are kicked out to the top. Reasons could be the tabulator is not, they're not finding the ballot stamp on the ballots, or a lot of them were mismarked. So the tabulator couldn't read it.
To the top so that the resolution board can verify that how their vote should have been read and recreate that ballot so that it can be read properly.
Yep, so the voters really need to make sure that they're filling in the oval completely. And yeah, as Kim stated, a lot of people threw hashtags through them or, but maybe lightly where the tabulator couldn't quite read it. So they get kicked out. And then those ballots get sent to my resolution boards who have eyeballs that can look at it. Does that answer your question?
Yep, I just want to clarify that for people that when you said
listening.
rejected, but their vote is counted, it's just marked incorrectly and
Correct.
the board decides.
Yes, the resolution board recreated, they look at them and then recreate the ballots. The only ones that are not counted are ballots that do not have ballot stamps on them. So for this election, we had 15,255 ballots cast. 7,714 voted absentee. We had 18 spoiled ballots, meaning those voters, the signatures maybe didn't match. On the return envelope, maybe the husband and the wife accidentally signed one another's envelopes, or they just forgot to sign their envelope. So 18 of them were not counted. So 7,696 ballots were counted on election for absentee. 7,569 people voted at the polls. We had 9 ballots that were left unstamped, so those were not counted. As I stated, we had 2 provisional ballots. Those are folks who are not on the registration list, but they claim to be. And so this just allows me to do a little bit more investigation and find out if they are in fact eligible to vote. So, and then we had 21,587 registered voters. So this just kind of gives you the election turnout over the years. So I would say it was a pretty successful election. I mean, 71% voter turnout is pretty darn good for Brookings County. As Lori mentioned, the post-election audit, that will take place on Thursday, November 14th at 9 a.m. Right here in the chambers, we're gonna do it. It is open to the public, so anybody can come. After you guys canvass the results, we will draw 1 vote center at random to audit, and then we will do the same thing on 2 contests. One will be a statewide one, and then another one will be a random selection. And then for the listening public too, the official statewide canvass will be held Tuesday, November 12th at 1 p.m. Okay, so I think what we'll do is we'll dive into the recap sheets. Stace, if you can switch it here. And again, we've made copies for each of you, so let's start with the absentee vote center. As we're looking at the detail, you'll notice the overs and the undervotes. An overvote occurs when one votes for more than the maximum number of selections allowed in a contest. The result is a spoiled vote, which is not included in our final tally. An undervote is just the opposite. That occurs when the number of choices selected by a voter in a contest is less than the minimum number allowed for a contest. So just
And those get counted, right?
those get counted, yeah. All right, so for the absentee, as you can see, the ballots to be counted on election night, they said that there was 7,696 ballots to be counted. Those guys had 0 unstamped ballots. And then as you can see on the results, the total sheets processed was 7,696. So the absentee was spot on. The discrepancies noted by a resolution board, the margin is 5. So we can be within 5 discrepancies and still be okay. That's our margin. The next one is the Vote Center 1, which is the Activity Center. The Activity Center had 2 unstamped ballots. And their recap noted that there should have been 1,585 to be counted, but the tabulator processed 1,584. So there was a discrepancy of 1. Again, the margin is 5, so we were still okay. Bethel Baptist Church, we have 2 locations within Bethel. I think that worked really well for people, and I think they really liked that. So starting with Bethel 1, this was in the gym, the gymnasium. These guys had 2 unstamped ballots. They noted that there should have been 985 ballots to be counted, but the tabulator counted 983. So there was a discrepancy of 2. But they also had 2 unstamped ballots, so those, are not counted, unfortunately. The next vote center is vote center 3. This is Bethel. This is in the dining area. It's in another location. They had 0 unstamped ballots. They noted that there should be 948 to be counted. The tabulator counted 950, so there was a discrepancy of 2. The only thing that I could really think of as why that would be is maybe 2 ballots got stuck together, and so, you know, they were voting like on the front, and then they flipped it over. You know, that second ballot could have been the second one. It's the only thing I can think of that why there would be 2 extra. So again, we're within the margin, so they're okay. Vote Center 4 is Holy Life Tabernacle. This is another busy location. This is a newer location, and they're remaining to stay steady. So that's really nice to see. They had 0 unstamped ballots. The total number of ballots to be counted by them was 940, and the tabulator counted 940. So those guys were spot on with their recap sheet. Our next location was the Aurora Impact Church. The ladies over there, this was a new location for Aurora. If you remember in the primary, we used the fire hall, but we used the Impact Church for this one, and I think that's gonna work. I think this will be a good location. They had a good system. So they had 0 unstamped ballots. They had 544 ballots to be counted, which I think is pretty good. And then they had 544 go through the tabulator. As you can see on their recap sheet, you can see her handwritten note. In the package of ballots, when you get a package of the ballots, there's a cover sheet, and it says cover sheet on it. But I don't know, they had the voter vote that. And they told me about it, and they noted it on their recap sheet. So those 2 cover sheet ballots that somebody voted, they got kicked out of the tabulator, and then our resolution board recreated it. So they were counted, so. Our next location is Vote Center 6, which is Elkton. They had 0 unstamped ballots, and they had 393 ballots to be counted, and the tabulator also counted 393. So their recap sheet was also spot on. Our next location is Vote Center 7. This is White. They had 0 unstamped ballots. They had 529 ballots on their recap sheet, and the tabulator also read 529 ballots. So they were also spot on. The next location is Vote Center 8. This is Bruce. Bruce had 5 unstamped ballots. So they had a total number of ballots to be counted was 432, and the total sheets processed was also 432 ballots. So their recap sheet was also spot on. Our last location is Vote Center 9, which is Volga. Volga is very busy. They had 0 unstamped ballots, and they noted that they had 1,204 ballots to be counted. The tabulator also read 1,204 sheets. I can't remember if we go over. Oh, here, we can just do the public results. Oh, yeah. This one. Oh, yeah, we'll do that last. Just real quick before we go into that provisional ballot that I want to show you. This just shows you the public, the totals. So 15,255. There was 2 blank ballots in there. This, let's see if I can go over here. This is that provisional ballot that is eligible to vote. Their ballot was not counted on election night, but it is counted today. So we did enter it into total vote. It is in the results. We had Angie Maher and Mike Struck. They were appointed as our provisional ballot resolution board. They opened up the provisional ballot envelope, and then they marked what the voter had chosen. So here's the front, and then the back here. So again, it wasn't counted on election night because I needed to do some more investigation, found out that that voter is eligible to vote. Their choices did count, so we did get that into the final tally. Any questions so far before we move on to the totals, the results? Okay. All right, I think Kim's gonna take over this part for me. Yeah, if we wanna zoom in a little bit. We can kind of go over the totals for Brookings County.
The light's on. All right, for presidential electors, we have the totals at the bottom with each vote center listed on the side, broken out if you're interested in those breakouts. But for Kamala D. Harris and Tim Waltz, Democratic Party, we had a total of 5,978 votes. For Chase Oliver and Mike Termott, Libertarian Party, we had a total of 112 votes. Donald J. Trump and J.D. Vance, Republican Party, we had 8,575 votes. And Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and Nicole Shanahan, Independent Party, we had 274 votes. For the United States Representative, we had Cheryl Johnson, Democratic Party, with 4,644 votes, and Dusty Johnson, Republican Party, with 10,133 votes. For the Public Utilities Commissioner, we had Forrest Wilson with the Democratic Party having 4,126 votes. A. Gideon Oaks in the Libertarian Party, 659 votes. Christy Fegan for the Republican Party with 9,191 votes. For District 7 State Senator, there was Tim Reed with the Republican Party. He had 7,597 votes cast. And the District 7 State Senate, or District 8 State Senator had 2,949 votes for Casey Crabtree with the Republican Party. All right, State Representative for District 7, Blake Stevens with the Democratic Party had 3,189 votes. Fedora Sutton Butler in the Democratic Party had 3,533 votes. Melissa Heerman with the Republican Party had 5,666 votes. And Roger DeGroot with the Republican Party had 6,045 votes. State Representative for District 8, we had Greg Zimmerman with the Libertarian Party having 626 votes. Tim Reich for the Republican Party having 2,587 votes. And Tim Wahlberg with the Republican Party having 2,565 votes. All right, so the Supreme Court retention for voting for yes, we had 9,497 votes, and no was 2,272 votes. For Conservation District Supervisor for Brookings County, we had Jackson Hegerfeld with 4,763 votes, Rick Kerr with 3,834 votes, Daryl W. DeBoer with 4,604 votes, and John D. Halens with 5,156 votes. Okay, Constitutional Amendment E, voting yes, we had 7,085 votes, and no, we had 7,749 votes. For Constitutional Amendment F, we had 7,787 yes votes and 6,883 no votes. Constitutional Amendment G, there were 6,927 yes votes and 8,040 people voted no. Constitutional Amendment H, we had 5,404 votes yes and 8,977 voting no. All right, then we have the initiated measure 28. 4,807 votes for yes, 9,865 voting no. Initiated measure 29, there were 6,978 yes votes and 7,969 no votes. For referred law 21, there were 5,846 yes votes and 8,394 no votes.
So that wraps up the results. You have in front of you that big binder. So feel free to kind of look at it, pass it around. But yeah, each of you guys have your recap sheet, so you guys can keep those and kind of look at them. But you do have that big binder you can kind of pass along that has a list of all of the names. On top, it's got the registration list, but then underneath that big packet is everyone who voted absentee and everyone that voted at the polls. So you'll be able to see those names. I think maybe at this time, if we want Lori, if we want to do our drawing for the post-election audit, again, for the listening public, the post-election audit will be held next Thursday, November 14th at 9 a.m. in the chambers, and everyone is welcome to watch that process. We can do it after.
Just a minute.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think we're going to wait 1 second, right?
Just a second, I just wanted to go through the book there.
Yep.
I do need to have a motion to approve the results from the November 5th, 2024 general election.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Entertain any comments from the board.
Just thank you for your work. Very impressive, as always.
I'd just like to say, I know it's been a long process to get to where we are today, and I'd like to thank you for your dedicated service. So,
Thank you.
so,
Stress and everything with this election, so we all went through it, and it took a lot of people, so.
I'll echo those same comments. Just thank you, and thank you.
Absolutely. Yes, we enjoy the process very much. I sent, I think, Dan a picture of kind of what the day looks like. It's like an extinguisher that you're using, and you're just kind of constantly putting out fires here and there, but you just keep going with it. And everyone was great this year. We had a lot of people that came out, a lot of people that were, had signs out kind of protesting, but they were all, outside of the 100-foot boundary, so they were all fine. So it was fun to see everyone kind of participating in their own way. So yeah, no issues for Brookings County.
Okay. Will you call the roll, please?
Bartley?
Aye.
Krogman?
Aye.
Hostler?
Aye.
Vanderwall?
Aye.
Jensen?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, I don't know if this is a dangerous draw or not, because, big numbers, little numbers for hand counting, but I'm gonna do it and not make a face when I look at it. Yeah, absentees are not included.
So we had we had 9 locations that we could draw from, and they are all listed on a little chip. And Lori drew Bruce Community Room. Okay, so we're gonna get rid of the locations. Next, we're gonna draw for a statewide contest. Again, they're all listed on their own little chip. We are gonna draw one of those. Lori drew Referred Law 21. And then we had 5 non-statewide races that we're gonna add to the mix because we can draw any race for the second one. And Supreme Court retention is our second race that we are gonna audit. So again, we'll be auditing the Bruce Community Room, and the 2 races are the Referred Law 21 and Supreme Court retention.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
We do have Richard from Planning has a couple more announcements to me.
Yes, I forgot to mention this during my report, but our office will be short-staffed here the next couple weeks. Bob will be gone, and Raylyn has some family FMLA issues going on, so it'll be just myself in the office periodically during that time. So, and also I've Deer Creek Station, the generation plant up by White. I had their annual emergency operations review night for first responders, and I was up there with the sheriff and the local fire department. So that was on Monday night. So that was what I failed to mention earlier. So just wanted to let you be aware of that. Thank you.
Thank you, Richard. Moving on, item number 13, executive session in accordance with South Dakota Codified Law 1-25-2, parentheses 1, personnel. Do I have a motion to enter an executive session?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Glad you went to that. I bet that was interesting. Missouri River Dale left yesterday.